Today we are visiting a local favorite, a chef-driven restaurant that serves elevated Southern cuisine. And this week's A Dash of That segment, our favorite food and cultural journalist, Martina Yvette Allen, takes us to Husk.
Yes.
It's the place that a lot of us see and we always want to go in, but we're a little bit intimidated and we don't know what to expect, but it's a great restaurant.
Absolutely. I was going to say, is it because it doesn't look as approachable? But
yes,
it's also mostly because of the fact that the company wants you to know that they totally are approachable.
Yes.
Their menu is one that they want to be able to set as basically a shareable space. So they want people and encourage them, stop by. Don't be intimidated. There's a lot that you can afford on the menu. So don't be weary of actually giving them a try.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk about this space because it is in a historic building that is beautifully decorated.
Yes, this is a very beautifully decorated building. It has a lot of history, almost past to the 1700s. So, and the biggest renovation aspect here is the bar. As you can see, that bar program is a wraparound. It's a beautiful area. So whether you're hosting or if you're just stopping by for a drink, it's a nicely curated space just for you to sit and enjoy the ambiance.
And speaking of spaces, indoor and outdoor.
Yes. So you do have the indoor outdoor space. It was really hot, so I did not go outside. But I did have the luxury of actually being within the restaurant, sitting at one of their booths, and it was definitely a place that I was like, oh, this is just an imaginable space. It was beautiful.
It is, and it's also kind of like an anniversary space because the vibe gives romantic, also laid back and cultured.
It does.
Without feeling stuffy, you say.
Absolutely. So there's no stuffiness here. It really is just a place where you could come and you actually can put on a really nice dress or a suit, or if you just want to wear like some casual clothing like a polo, you just feel very just one with the space. And I do appreciate the fact that their service as well also kind of speaks to that. Everybody there is very chill and they are very knowledgeable. To have a different space or a different server that actually is like, you know what, let's try this or try that. Now I will say the beautiful thing about the time that we went is that they actually curated the menu for us, which
because
is
you're special like that. Go ahead.
I think honestly at this point maybe a lot of shows think I'm a little indecisive like that, which I appreciate because it's true. So I do appreciate them for doing that as well.
So the thing about their food is it's sourced directly from local farmers and surrounding waterways.
Absolutely. So it's not even just local farmers that's in Georgia. For instance, some of their bread, their specialty sourdough bread is from a place called Union Station, which is in North Carolina, Raleigh. So they use specific grains from that area in order to create that bread. So when we actually start talking about the food, I'll kind of talk about some of those notes as well.
Well, then we're going to do that
okay,
right
let's
now
do that.
because you have a chance to talk with the chef who grew up on tiny islands.
Yes. So it was nice to see a familiar Savannian that actually knows his waterways and also the foodways, and he has a very interesting story. So he went to Johnson High School. Shout out to the Adam Smashers.
Okay.
And he learned his food notes from there.
All right. So what is this?
So this here is the start is the beef tartare. So this beef tartare is actually a really innovative way of them reducing and eliminating food waste as well. So they use the shrimp from the New York steak in order to combine those different ingredients and flavors. This one here was a beautiful savory space. That egg yolk is actually basically just cooked and boiled down for almost close to like 3 hours or so, and then they just dress it up. It's a very nice a nice appetizer, but then also that sourdough kind of brings it in together as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you mentioned shareable plates, right? So we're going to take a look at this. Ooh.
Yes, now this was gorgeous. This is the Joyce Farm chicken. So the Joyce Farm chicken, again, a lot of this comes from a lot of the Geechee byways. So they thought of this through the African diaspora. So they have like a nice like peanut, and I said stew, but it's more like a peanut chutney that goes underneath it. It's also accompanied by sweet potatoes, almost with white wine, lemongrass, and thyme. So it's a very slow-baked, approachable meal. And if you do have a peanut allergy, Chef Hammer says, don't worry, he will try to make it to your liking because it is about your palate and what you need.
And you also had a chance to talk with the GM who says seasonality plays a major role in the restaurant's menu development. Let's take a look at the next dish that we have.
Yes. So our next dish, this was one of my favorites. So this was the pimento cheese. So of course, as you know, a lot of places have a pimento cheese.
Yes.
Their pimento cheese is very standard across the board, but the thing that makes it is the pickled relish that's on top. And then also adding in those more geechee elements. This is a Benny cracker. Now, I don't know anything about you. When I grew up with Benny, I'm only used to sweet Benny seeds.
Yes.
So to have it in a savory version with a very crunchable cracker is great, and then it also comes with a side of pork rinds. These pork rinds are definitely refined pork rinds, because this is not the one from the Chester's bag I know. So
yeah, exactly.
It was very good pork rinds.
This is not that. Okay, so our next dish.
So the next dish, this is a berry cobbler. So this one, now I will say, it does have a bit of additional grains of saltiness to it.
Yes.
So if you pick up those particular notes, it's because they do add the salt to the biscuits as well as the salted caramel. It's a berry compote that's underneath, and all these are local berries. So all of this was, again, more so for the purveyor, for the farmer. This is all just an ode to Husk tradition of supporting farms, and then also making sure they're keeping Southern tradition at play.
So I don't know if you have a picture of this, but I read about the pork chop.
Yes. Yes, I do have a picture of that, actually.
Do you?
And
okay.
that pork chop, the Cheshire bone-in pork chop, I think that may have been my starless dish of that night. That particular pork chop was seasoned so perfectly. And then they also put it in a hearth oven. So if you don't know, that's kind of like a brick oven.
Yes.
So that particular oven basically crisp it. They also add additional seasonings, including a coffee blend on top of it to kind of give it a more seasonal taste, to almost like a fall. And then underneath it is more like a corn brew or pudding.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, it just works so perfectly.
So we don't have a picture of the pork chop because I ate the pork chop.
Okay,
so
yes.
here, let's take a look at this. What is this?
So let's talk about this. This actually was the most interesting dish that I think we had for desserts. So this one was a muscadine, almost like a tart. The mousse on it is kind of a chocolate mousse, and then it comes with like a crunchy peanut. So it's more like a peanut butter and jelly in a way.
Okay.
And I really appreciated how the flavor profiles in this blend in this. I don't think I've ever really witnessed anyone use muscadine in quite this way. So it was very ingenious how the pastry chef was actually able to create something so elaborate in this dish as well.
Now, do we have drinks?
We do have drinks, and one of the drinks that we are going to talk about is that old fashioned. So the Husk old fashioned is definitely a more citrus profile drink. It does have a nice little lemon tart to it. One thing I do appreciate is that they try to make sure that they're using flavors for the season. So pretty soon you may add some sorghum to it as well. Yes. And then we also have the Tropic line is the next drink. That's the clearer one. This one kind of reminds me a lot of like a nice, like approachable gin drink. But this one was, both of them were equally as tasty, but something about that old fashioned kind of just tied in with the dishes as well. So I was really appreciative of that one as well.
Okay,
yes.
So do we have another picture?
Is it my pork
No,
chop?
I think that's it. Yeah. So refreshing, delicious, approachable,
Yes.
and even if you are intimidated, they have things on the menu that you can
absolutely.
get. Like they have a burger.
Absolutely, they have a burger. They have wings. They also have oysters for happy hour. So if you just want to come and, and just explore the menu, that's one of the things that they want you to do. Don't be afraid to walk up those steps. They're very beautiful in there as well, and no one there is intimidating. Everybody who just wants to be able to make sure that you're having a great meal that day.
All right,
Yes.
Martina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Find a link to Martina's blog, A Dash of That, A Dash of History, this segment and any of her previous interviews by visiting our website, wsav.com/Martina. Want to mention that Husk is located at 12 West Oglethorpe Avenue. They're open daily from 5 until 10, open for brunch, and as Martina mentioned, for happy hour as well.
Go to happy hour.
Yeah.